Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. Greetings, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world that you are joining from. I want to show appreciation for the people on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. Thank you so very much for coming, and please participate in the conversation. I am Dr. Daphne Clarke-Hudson, your why and soul purpose coach and consultant. I work with my clients to help them connect to their inner blueprint for success. And by so doing, they are able to live a more abundant life. For this broadcast this morning, we will be discussing effective communications. Effective communication. One of my friends on TikTok a couple days ago asked me to, my friend on TikTok asked me to speak on that topic, and that's the reason I told the person I put it on the list and I would speak about it. And today the Spirit wanted me to choose that. So whomever it is, I hope you're here to get it live. And if you are not here, I know that you will be able to catch it on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get all of the content. Get your water, because at between 6:30 and 6:45 we will be doing the water therapy. I am using a glass this morning because I was out of small containers of water. So that's why I'm using a glass. If you are not using a glass, you continue using what you have. I highly recommend that you have at least 8 ounces of water. Be sure to follow each other. Tap the screen, show some live, show some respect. Yes, it is 6:01 for me, and I am in the East Coast. I know that my friends and supporters are from different time zones and all over the world, and that is why I am so appreciative of each and every one of you. All right, so let us begin. Effective communication. Are you looking to communicate better? This conversation this morning, this video, this broadcast will be sharing some tips and insights from our research and some from my personal experience of working with people over the many years, and to see how the impact that effective communication has had on my practice and the things that I do. Want to communicate better? These tips will help you avoid misunderstanding, grasp the real meaning of what is being communicated, and greatly improve your work and personal relationships. Yes, because guess what? Miscommunication is what messes up relationships all the time. People do not understand and they just for clarity. So promise yourself, welcome to my Facebook. Get into the practice of asking for clarity when you do not understand. What is effective communication? Effective communication is about more than just exchanging information. It is about understanding the emotion and intentions behind the information, as well as being able to clearly convey a message. You need to also listen to the way that gains the full meaning of what's being said and makes the other person feel heard and understood. We were talking about that yesterday morning. Effective communication sounds like it should be instinctive, but all too often, when we try to communicate with others, something goes astray. We say one thing and the other person hears something entirely different. And misunderstandings, frustration, conflicts ensue. This can cause problems in your homes, schools, and work relationships. For many of us, communicating more clearly and effectively requires learning some important skills, whether they are trying to improve communication with our spouses, kids, bosses, co-workers, or learning these skills can deepen our connection with others, build greater trust and respect, and improve teamwork, problem solving, and your other social and emotional health. All right? Can anybody relate so far with what is being shared here? Is effective communication a challenge for you? Do you see yourself in the position of where you get into a conversation, you just talk, and you want the other person to listen to you, but you have no idea of what it is the other person is trying to say to you? What's stopping us from communicating effectively? So now it's time to take inventory of self. What's preventing us? What's preventing me? What's preventing you from communicating effectively? Common barriers to communicating effectively. Stress and out of control emotions is at the top of the list. You're stressed or emotionally overwhelmed. You are more likely to misread other people. Some confusing or off-putting nonverbal signals and lapse into unhealthy knee-jerking patterns of behavior to avoid conflict, some misunderstandings. You can learn how to quickly calm down before continuing the conversation. Have you ever been in a situation where you're having a conversation with somebody and someone shows up and there's nothing you can do to tell them that you weren't talking about them? Because they walk around with this chip on their shoulders based on past experiences, and they think that everybody who is having a conversation is talking about them. And this is what this is talking about. Approaching situation with uncontrolled emotions. And what is this telling us, ladies and gentlemen? We got to keep ourselves in check. Each of us, we are our own responsibility. Too often we're trying to keep others in check and leave ourselves unchecked. We got to keep looking in the mirror and have that one-on-one conversation. So if each and every one of us will be responsible for our own action and behaviors, we will be able to approach this situation consciously and not with overwhelming emotions. Lack of focus is another situation which prevents us from communicating effectively. You cannot communicate effectively when you are multitasking. If you are checking your phone, planning what you are doing, what you are going to say next, or daydreaming, you're almost certain to miss nonverbal cues in the conversation. To communicate effectively, you need to avoid distractions and stay focused. I'll take this opportunity to share with you. A few weeks ago, I was in Walmart, and this Walmart down here in Florida is new to me. So it was my first time in the store. And let me tell you, this store is so big. And I walked up and I asked one of the attendants, "Excuse me, where is such and such?" And she continued looking in the box where she was doing. And I said, "Excuse me." And she said, "I heard you." I said, "I would not have known you heard me because you were continuing working on what you were doing." So especially for somebody on their job, it is important to show attention to the person. I remember one of my professors said to share with the class why we should not multitask. And I know some people, they live their life multitasking. And what professor said was that multitasking eat up valuable brain cells. And I am not someone to multitask because I need to give my full attention to whatever it is that I am doing. So when I'm speaking with you, you have my undivided attention. You will probably see me with a pen in my hand, and I have a paper close by. I remember a few weeks ago when I was on Roy's Live He called me. I was already in bed, and I had like this pen in my hand, which is also a stylus. And Don said to me, Queen, you always have a pen in your hand. And I always have paper close by that I need to jot something down. I jot it down so I can go back to it once the person pauses. So for me, not multitasking is very important during the communication process. To communicate effectively, you need to avoid distraction and stay focused. The next point here is inconsistent body language. Woo! That is a big one. When you are not paying attention, you will not be able to see the body languages. And this is why it is so important. You need to be paying attention. I just love the Holy Spirit. I tell you something. I was reading and I was doing the broadcast, and the Spirit said to me, look over on my TikTok page. And I looked over just in time to see somebody type a negative comment. And it just gave me the time to block the person. So, obedience and listening. When you hear or feel to look, just glance and look. All right? Inconsistent body language. Nonverbal communication should reinforce what is being said, not contradicting it. If you say no one thing, but your body language says something else, your listener will likely feel that you're being dishonest. For example, you can say yes while shaking your head no. Oh Lord, yes, you know that is true. And listen to me, let me tell you something. Being intuitive is such a gift, because even when I am on the phone working with somebody and I cannot physically see them, intuitively, I can know everything that their body is doing. And I can call it to their attention. I can say, listen, relax and breathe. Or I can say, why are you doing such and such? I can feel them suppressing an answer that comes up when I ask a question. So it is so important to be all in when you are communicating. Negative body language. If you disagree with or dislike what's being said, you might use negative body language to rebuff the other person's message, such as crossing your arms, avoiding eye contact, or tapping your feet, or you don't have to agree with or even like what's being said, but to communicate effectively and not put the other person on the defense, it is important to avoid sending negative signals. Listen, teenagers, Teenagers, they know to do this. You know how they be bobbing their head and rolling their eyes and all of that? Teenagers got this one down pat. And as parents, we got to watch, because a lot of times the children are not saying, they are doing, and we are missing it because we are not looking at them. Come on over there, tap the screen, TikTok, tap the screen, show some love, show some likes. To be communicating effectively, we need to become an engaging listener. And how do we do that? When we communicate with others, we often focus on what we should say. However, effective communication is less about talking and more about listening. Listening well means not just understanding the words or the information being communicated, but also understanding the emotions the speaker is trying to convey. There's a big difference between engaged listening and simple hearing. When you really listen, when you engage with what's being said, you will hear the subtle information, intonation, in someone's voice, and that tell you how the person is feeling and the emotions they are trying to communicate. When you are an engaged listener, not only will you better understand the other person, you will also make that person feel heard and understood, which can help build a stronger, deeper connection between you both. By communicating in this way, you will also experience a process that lowers stress and supports physical and emotional well-being if the person you are talking to is calm. For example, listening is an engaging way to help you to calm two similar. If the person is agitated, you can help to calm them by listening in an attentive way and making the person feel understood. If your goal is to fully understand and connect with the other person, listening is an engaging way, will often come naturally. If it doesn't, try to follow the tips. The more you practice them, the more satisfying and rewarding your interaction with others will become. Here are some tips that you can use to become an engaged listener. To be an engaged listener, focus fully on the speaker. You can't listen in an engaged way if you are constantly checking your phone or thinking about something else. You need to stay focused on, on the moment to moment experience in order to pick up the subtle nuances and important nonverbal clues in the conversation. If you find it hard to concentrate on some speakers, try repeating their words over in your head. It will reinforce the message and help you stay focused. This is an important one for those of us who do keynote presentations. You know, as a keynote speaker, we are always looking for someone in the audience who is concentrating and communicating positive body language to you, and you stay affixed to that person. And what it does, it energizes you versus looking all over and see some people texting on the phones and everything like that. So you find that one person that you zero in, and it helps you to deliver a more powerful keynote presentation. Favor your right ear. As strange as it sounds, the left side of the brain contains the primary processing center for both speech, comprehension, and emotions. Since the left side of the brain is connected to the right side of the body, favoring your right ear can help you better detect the emotion nuances of what someone is saying. Okay, it is 6:26. I'm just checking to see the time for the water therapy. Avoid interrupting or trying to redirect the conversation to your concerns by saying something like, if you think that's bad, let me tell you what happened to me. Listening is not the same as waiting for your turn to speak. You cannot concentrate on what someone's saying if you are forming what you are going to say next. Often, the speaker can read your facial expression and know that your mind's somewhere else. Ain't that the truth? Show your interest in what's being said. Nod, yep. Nod occasionally. Smile at the person and make sure your posture is open and inviting. Engage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do your best to set aside judgment in order to communicate effectively with someone you don't have to like them or agree with their ideas, values, or opinions. However, you do need to set aside your judgments and withhold blame and criticism in order to fully understand them. The most difficult communication, when successfully executed, can often lead to an unlikely connection with someone. Provide feedback. If there seem to be a disconnect, reflect what has been said by paraphrasing. What I am hearing is, or sounds like you are saying, are great ways to reflect feedback. Don't simply repeat what the speaker has said verbatim, though you will sound insincere or unintelligent. Instead, express what the speaker's words meant to you. Ask questions to clarify certain points. What do you mean when you say, or is this what you mean? The next skill you need to 6:30. How many people we have over there? We have 29 people over there. Get ready. In about 5 minutes, we will be doing the water therapy. So please get ready, everyone. Pay attention to the nonverbal signals. You know, the rolling of the eyes, the arms cross across, all of those things. Pay attention. The way you look, listen, and move and react to another person tells you more about how you are feeling than words alone will ever explain. Nonverbal communication or body language includes facial expressions, body movements, and gesture, eye contact, posture, the tone of your voice, and even the muscle tension and breathing. Develop the ability to understand and use nonverbal communication can help you connect with others, express what you really mean, navigate challenging situations, and build better relationships at home or even in the workplace. You can enhance effective communication by using open body languages, arms uncrossed, standing with an open stance, and sitting in the edge of your seat, and maintaining eye contact with the person you are talking to. You can also use body language to emphasize or enhance your verbal message. Patting a friend on the back while complimenting him or her success, for example, or pounding your fist to underline your message. Improve how you read nonverbal communication. Be aware of an individual differences. People from different countries and cultures tend to use different nonverbal communication gestures. So it is important to take age, culture, religion, gender, and emotional state into account when reading body language signals. An American teen or grieving widow and an Asian businessman, for example, are likely to use nonverbal signals quite differently. Look at nonverbal communication signals as a group. Don't read too much into a single gesture or nonverbal cues. Consider all of the nonverbal signals you receive, from eye contact to tone of voice to body language. Anyone can slip up occasionally and let the eye contact go, for example, or briefly cross their arms without meaning to. Consider the signals as a whole to get a better read on a person. All right, guys, let me just do this part, and then we are going to be ready to do the water therapy. All right? Improve how you deliver nonverbal communication. Use nonverbal signals that match up with your words rather than contradict them. If you say one thing but your body language says something else, your listener will feel confused or suspect that you are being dishonest. For example, sitting with your arms crossed and shaking your head doesn't match with words that tell the other person that you agree with what they are saying. Tap the screen, guys, share the live, and get ready for the water therapy. Just adjust your nonverbal signals according to the context. The tone of your voice, for example, should be different when you are addressing a child than they are when you are addressing a group of adults. Similarly, take into account the emotional state and cultural background of the person you are interacting with. Avoid negative body language. Instead of using body language to convey positive feelings, even when you are not actually experiencing them. If you are nervous about a situation, a job interview, important presentation, or just on the first date, for example, you can use positive body language to signal confidence, even though you are not feeling it. Instead of tentatively entering a room with your head down, eyes converted, and sliding into the chair, You are standing tall and your shoulders back, smiling and maintaining eye contact will deliver a firm handshake. It will make you feel much more self-confident and help you to put the other person at ease. Yes, if you are just joining, we are talking about effective communication and why it's important. And thanks to the member from my TikTok community who has asked me to speak on that. So please get your water, bless your water, meditate over your water, supercharge your water, and let your requests be known. Are you requiring healing? Are you asking for guidance, spiritual guidance, whatever it is that you need from your supercharged water? Remember, water is energy, and whatever we requires from it, it has the power to enhance that, to enhance the health of our organs. Any impurities that's going on in our bodies, this supercharged water has the power to flush it out. So, as we bless this water this morning, we ask that it will go into our bodies and that it will clear out any impurities. It will enhance the performance of our organs, all of the different systems in our bodies. It will go directly to those sources and it will fuel the energy in them. And we give thanks for the result. Let's drink. Okay? All right. If you are just doing the water therapy for the first time, do your journal practice so that you can track what you're working on and see the results. All right, let's just tie this up. And please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to my newsletter by visiting my website, daphneclarke.com. And follow me on Instagram and connect with me on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. Keep stress in a check. How many times have you felt stress during a disagreement with your spouse, kids, bosses, friends, or co-workers? And then said or done something while when you will later regret it. If you can quickly relieve stress and return to a calm state, you will not only avoid regrets, but in many cases, it will also help you to calm the other person as well. It's only when you are in the calm, relaxed state that you will be able to know whether the situation requires a response or whether the other person's signals indicate it would be better to remain silent. In the situation such as a job interview, business presentation, high pressure meeting, or introduction to a loved one's family, or for example, it's important to manage your emotions. Think on your feet and effectively communicate under that pressure. You know, those of you who have a significant other, how many times you have been caught in a situation and you're thinking, now is the time for me to walk away. And you know you got to say to the person, let us address this later on. Because you know if you continue in that present situation, it is going to cause a lot of issues. So you got to be disciplined and be sharp about thinking on your feet when you can say, listen, let us just put the brakes on this and let us address this. And don't leave it for a month or 2 months. If you say, let's address it in an hour, you're still not feeling it. You got to be honest and say, listen, I really need more time. I really need more time. Make one pause to collect your thoughts. Silence isn't necessarily a bad thing. Pausing can make you seem more in control. Rushing your response. Yeah, for those of us who are public speakers, we always talk about a pregnant pause. When we are doing a keynote presentation and we notice that the audience is out of control, we insert what is called a pregnant pause. And what is that? In the middle of the keynote, you suddenly stop. And all of a sudden, that sudden silence gets everybody, oh, what just happened? What just happened? And once you get their attention back, you continue. And this is the same thing here. Silence is not a bad thing. However, if you are not paying attention, you would not realize that it is needed. Make one point and provide an example or supporting piece of information. If your response is too long or you're waffled about a number of points, you risk losing the listener's interest. Follow one point with an example and then gauge the listener's interaction to tell you if you should make a second point. Deliver your words clearly. It may cause in many cases, how you say something can be as important as what you say Speak clearly. Maintain an even tone. Make eye contact. Keep your body language relaxed and open. Wrap up with a summary. And when stop, summarize your response. And then stop making and stop talking, even if it leaves a silence in the room. You should have to fill the silence by continuing to talk. And with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, kings and queens, this is where we will stop the effective communication. So, I hope that you have gathered some important points that you will be able to use in enhancing your effective communicating skills. Know who you are. Know what it is you need to fine tune. What do you need to polish? What do you need to pep up? You know, you got to tweak something. I remember years ago when I began public speaking, man, I was so nervous. And I used to set up my dining table. I would put utensils and I would be standing at the head of the table. I'm speaking. And my son used to come out and he laughed because he hear me out there speaking and asking questions. And he come out and he laughed. He said, Mommy, you are speaking to those utensils again. And I will never forget. You know, your kids, I don't know about you, but my son always just see me as his mama. He never see the professional side of who I am. And the very first time my son was in middle school, and I was one of the speakers, Attorney Willie Gary, very prominent attorney from Florida, came up to Connecticut for an important event. And I was the MC for that event. I carried my son and his friend Bruno to the event with me. That was my son's very first time seeing me in that professional light. And when we got in the car and we were driving back home from Middletown to to Danbury, we were living at that time. And he began crying. Mommy, I just want to apologize, he says, because all of this time I never see you. I only see you as my mother, and tonight when I saw you, and I grabbed him, I said, why are you crying? He said, Ma, because I just want to apologize because I was so proud of you tonight. And then I look and I see people coming in line and asking for your autograph. And Mommy, I said to Bruno, that's my mother. You know? And I hugged him and I started crying too. So, we never know how other people are seeing us. And even today, my son is a grown man. And he's calling me for advices and stuff. And yet when I give the advice, sometimes I give it when it's not asked for. He said, oh, why can't you be my mother? You always got to be a coach. And I said to him, Well, you're getting for free what other people are paying me a lot of money for, so you better stop complaining. So, develop your skills and don't pay attention to the people in your family who don't understand what you do. Developing these skills is to give you a broader outlook with the people out there who you want to do business with you. You want to connect with you. You want these people in your network. Remember, the size of our net worth is dependent on the impact and size of our network. I want to thank each and every one of you who came to this live this morning. Again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Clapper, Clubhouse, Instagram, and TikTok. I am Dr. Daphne Clarke-Hudson, your why and soul purpose coach and consultant. It is always a pleasure to serve you. And you know what? I love each and every one of you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please share my content with somebody. Do not take it for granted that they don't need it, because guess what? We do not know what people need. So please grant me the favor of sharing the content with somebody. Send them to my YouTube channel. It's not costing them anything to subscribe there. And I look forward to seeing you on the next broadcast. Bye. Be safe and have a happy Sunday. Bye, everybody.